how is everyone doing this morning? I hope your day is off to a wonderful, fantastic start. If this is your first time here, hi, my name is Carrington. Not your first time here, hi, welcome back. If you enjoy any and all things makeup, definitely go ahead, hit that subscribe button, click the little bell to be notified of all my future uploads. As well, if you enjoy this type of content, enjoy this video, any parts of it, then definitely go ahead, give this video a thumbs up, and let's go ahead and let's dive on in. Alright, I did a little bit of some camera adjustments. It just felt like it was a little off. I don't know. Okay, so today's video, so we did our favorites. And usually a lot of people combine their favorites and fails. But my favorites was already pretty long. Like, I was talking for hours. So I'm going to just do a fails by themselves. And there's not a lot of products. Literally, there's just a few products to talk about. But I can sit here and yammer on and on and on for hours. So might as well just go ahead and get started with it. So let's go ahead and let's dive on into the products that I hated last month. I have some newer products. I have some older products. We're just going to go ahead. We're going to dive right on in. The first up is this Maybelline Matte Sensationalist. This is supposed to be, it's called Peach Buff. But to me, it just looks, whenever I put it on the lips, it just looks very pink. I don't really find it to be super peach. And also, maybe it's just because, like, I don't know, maybe it's getting, like, older. Like, maybe it's getting ready to expire. I just find, like, it's just, like, it's harder to, like, apply. I don't know. I just feel like I've always kind of noticed that, though, where it's just very, like, I know it's supposed to be, like, a matte. But, like, the Milani mattes, those are still, like, comfortable enough to, like, glide on. And this one I just don't really find does. It could just be, like, this shade, too. This is, like, one of, like, the only shades that I have. But I will say it's not, it is just, it's pretty bad. I wanted this to be, like, a very nice, like, peach type of color. And it's just, it's more pink. Like, even, like, the way it looks in the tube, I was expecting this. And it just came off very pink. And so I'm just really disappointed in that. That's about the only qualms that I have with that. That's all I gotta say. Next up is the Nabla Major Pleasure Mascara. I do like this if I am combining mascaras. Usually for me, I am that type of person that likes to combine mascaras to get the most out of my lashes. So I do like to, like, add, like, a volumizing mascara with a, like, more, like, lengthening type mascara. I don't find I have found a mascara that does both, like, the lengthening and the volumizing just the way that I like it. This one is definitely kind of more for, like, that lengthening and separating. And here's, like, what the wand looks like. And here's the thing. I think that, like, it does keep my lashes nice and separated. I will not deny it that. But when it comes to, like, the lengthening or really, like, adding any definition to my lashes, you know, making them darker or anything like that, I just don't find that that's really the case with it. I really find that it does separate my lashes. So one, I would never ever use this by itself, but even when layering it with, like, another volumizing mascara, it almost feels like it's the volumizing mascara that's doing all the work, and this is barely doing anything at all. So, you know, it's a very, very, like, wet formula. I'm not opposed to wet formulas at all. I'm not really opposed to dry formulas either. I just want something that will definitely make my lashes, like, nice and thick and lengthened and separated, which is why I combine mascaras. But I just find, like, even when combining this with, like, other mascaras, it still just, like, isn't providing, like, that length or that definition. And it just seems like it's almost like the volumizing mascaras doing all the work. And it's like, I didn't even need this. I could have just done with the volumizing mascara and just called it a good day. Or I went in with the volumizing and another one. Because just with this, it just feels like nothing is happening. Okay, next up is this Bareminerals Primetime Original Foundation Primer. So this is very, very silicone-y. Like, you can definitely, when you pump that out, like, you can feel the silicone that's in it. So I definitely try to use this as, like, a pore filling primer. And for the longest time, I didn't think that it could be this that was making my makeup just not look right. But it is. It's just, like, it's so slippy and silicone-y that it's just like the makeup that where I put it in my T-zone. I feel like it does do a nice job of kind of, like, you know, smoothing over the pores, you know, like, filling them in. You know, not getting rid of them completely, but definitely just, you know, nicely, like, filling them in. But here's the issue. It's just so greasy and slippery and silicone-y, and this is coming from somebody that literally has dry skin. But anyway, it's so slippy, slippy and silicone-y that if I don't go over it with something a little bit more mattifying, or take like a mattifying setting spray and could go over it to kind of set that in place. If I don't do that, and then I just immediately go in with like my concealer and my foundation, and then go in with a powder or something to set it, I find that it just kind of starts to like break apart with my foundations, you know, tinted moisturizers, whatever the case may be with this. So the fact is like I can get it to work if I go in with this, maybe set it with powder, go in with this, set it with a nice setting spray, go in with this, and then like go over it with like my Hourglass Vanish primer. By the way, love that primer for pore filling. But that's the part like where I'm just like, okay, like yeah, it does a good job of filling the pores in, but like the fact that it's like separating my makeup. I have other primers that don't do that. I have other primers where I'm not needing to set it immediately with powder or something else. So for me, I just probably wouldn't like choose this over anything else. If you want really good pore filling primers, Tatcha, fantastic. And then the Hourglass. I love those two for like my pore filling primers. Fantastic primers. Those are my ride or dies. This just is not. Moving on to the Patrick Todd. This is the Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo. I wanted this so badly. I would stalk Sephora to see when this was coming back in stock. And it didn't. And it didn't. I got set up on email listings. Nothing. Crickets in the background. Like, this just was not coming back in stock. Finally, during Sephora VIB, I get a little ding. Your product is back in stock. And when I tell you, I ran so fast to Sephora's website to buy this, I almost knocked some people out. I almost knocked some people out. Nobody was near me, but I almost knocked some people out with the amount of wind that I was creating running to the Sephora website to get this. And I'm really disappointed. First and foremost, this like cream, it's just like not super creamy. Like you really have to warm this up. This is not at all anything like the blushes. If you recall, if you watched where I tried out like a bunch of Patrick Ta makeup, this was in it. I first started trying to start off with a brush, and it just wasn't warming up enough to the brush. So I was like, okay, maybe the sponge will work. And the sponge did help pick it up. But again, it just needs to really be like severely just like warmed up with your fingers and really kind of finessed. The next issue that I kind of have with this is that this is very, very like I'm fair. Like I have fair skin. And I think it's okay, right? If you were wanting to go in, this is more like a contour. So if you were wanting to go in with like a cream bronzer to like bronze up your face, you're not going to get it with that. So you would have to basically just like use this for the contour and then go in with this powder. And this is definitely like a very just like sheeny type blush, which I'm not necessarily opposed to. But I don't know. It's just not my favorite. I definitely wanted like the cream to be a little bit more bronzy for my fair skin. Not orange, not overly warm, but definitely a little bit more bronzy instead of more contoury. And then for the matte, like the actual bronzer part that is nice and warm enough, I don't mind a sheeny blush or sheeny bronzer, but I personally don't have the option for a matte with this either. So that's just kind of where I'm just kind of torn. It's just, I don't know. I just wasn't like overly impressed, especially for the price point. Like the blushes, 10 out of 10 would recommend, continuously recommend. I just don't really recommend this. Last for the makeup before we move on to skincare is this Essence Brighten Up Banana Powder. I so badly wanted this to work. I so badly wanted this to be fantastic because it's a good, affordable drugstore type product. I think that it does do a nice job brightening up. Here's the issue that I have with it though. It just makes my under eyes just look very, very heavy. Doesn't matter if I use a brush, a blendiful, a sponge. you know, bake with it, not bake with it. Like it just doesn't matter what I do with this. It just looks very, very heavy and cakey. And my under eyes are dry, so maybe if you have more oily under eyes, you might like this more. But for me, who has like really dry under eyes, I just have better powders that I can get to work a lot better than this. And it's just disappointing because I'm like, this could be a great drugstore offering. This is like $4. Like if a $4 powder could like set my under eyes and brighten, like I wouldn't really need any other powders. But it's just, yeah, this one just doesn't do it. It's just way too heavy, way too cakey underneath my eyes, which is a little bit disappointing. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to dive on into the last two skincare products. And these are both actually from the same company. I got this in the Trend Mood box. These are the Starface. So the first one are like these pimple patches. So I do get pimples around that time of the month. It's usually focused like in this area, just for whatever reason. That's just where my breakouts like to happen during that time of the month. It's hormonal acne. I have tried using a couple of these, and I don't know what it is, but it breaks out my face, breaks out like the area even more. And I'm just like, I think it's doing like the opposite effect here. And so I've even tried, because it says, you know, leave on till like 6 hours, things like that. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll leave it on for like an hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. And at this point, it still makes my skin very, very red, very dry, very itchy. For me, these just like don't really work that well. And then here are these clean swipes, which are spot purifying wands. And so basically it's got like these like, you know, little, oh, here, let me open it up. These little pre-filled Q-tips. You break one in, so then it fills up the Q-tip on the other end. And you just kind of go around and like if you have a zit or something, you clean it. You can apply the stars. You know, if you have like a zit, you can just like clean the area, whatever the case may be. And I had the exact same issue where after I would use these, like the next day, my face would be like itchy and red and peely. So for me personally, these just aren't meshing with my skin type. I'm not saying necessarily that these are terrible products. You shouldn't run out and buy these. They might work perfectly fine for your skin. Like these may be perfect. Like if you experience a lot of acne, it may be because like my skin is already really, really dry. And the, you know, it's just the unfortunate part where it's just hormonal acne. It's not because like my, you know, anything has to do with my skin. It just has to do with the fact that it's just hormonal acne. So if you have like maybe more oily skin, this might be a good option, where maybe you don't have hormonal acne. I don't know. I can't really test that because I only have one skin type, and I can't change it to test out a product and then go back to my regular skin type. Like it just, fortunately, doesn't work that way. So these I'm not completely totally like writing these off, but I just don't think that they're going to work for me. Well, I told you guys that was going to be probably a pretty quick one, and it was indeed. So that is it for today's video. I hope that you all enjoyed. If you did, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, click the little bell if you have not yet already, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!